Hello dear students, here this is the tutorial regarding how to create an arcade platformer game. So the very first thing is you need to know the website which you have to visit because this entire tutorial is cloud based. So we will have to go to this arcade.makecode.com website wherein first you have to sign in with your ID and then you can just go ahead. Although signing in is not mandatory, you can always try out the guest mode, but it is always better that you use the sign in. Okay, use your any existing Gmail ID or maybe the Microsoft Teams ID to sign in so that all your projects are kept at one place. All right, so without delaying, let's get started, and I'm taking you to my browser so that I can show you how exactly you have to use this website. This is my browser, and on the browser we are going to type arcade.makecode.com. Press enter and you will be transferred to the website. Now here you can see that this is the Microsoft website. Okay, here you have got the sign in button. Click on it and then you can use any of your ID to sign in, right? So I'm clicking signing in and it's going to ask me my ID. I choose my MS Teams ID to sign in here, and here we go. Okay, now you can see that this is, I have been signed in into this website. Same thing you can also do for yourself. Now here in this website you can see that there is this play now button. With this you can play any of the existing game which are available on the arcade.makecode.com, because there are many games already existing which have been created by the other developers. Okay, so you can also do that, right? So the very first thing which we are going to do is we are going to create a new project here. Okay, but before that I want to give you a walkthrough of this website. Like, this is my projects, means these are the projects which I created myself. These are the skill maps. Okay, so you can just go and check out these skill maps and you'll get a quite a good hint how the games are being made. There are certain tutorials which are very good for enhancing your knowledge. Then you have the live coding. Okay, so you can choose any of these and go live. You can learn live by the coders. Then we have the block games. Existing games are here which you can play. Here is the list of JavaScript games. Okay, then we have the game jams, right? Advanced live streams, community games, game design concepts, graphics and maths, art and craft, and a few lessons and courses available for you. Then there is a list of hardware, right? These are the arcade and the Tinkergen and Adafruit hardware, which are basically simulators with which you can play the game. And then you have a few of the tutorial how to make games by some of the programmers here. Okay, then there is this John Park's workshop. All in all, it is a wonderful website for a beginner to learn coding. Okay, and specifically the block based coding, right? So now let us go and click on this new project. Okay, and you have to give a valid name to your project. Since we are creating a platformer game using the Corgio extension, so I'm going to give it a name which resembles it. Platformer Corgio, let's say 1. Okay, now I'm clicking on create. and here we go. Now see, this is the screen of the arcade gaming creation. It's divided into three parts. On the left hand side you can see the simulator, which is going to show you the output of the code, the block codes which you are going to drag and drop here. Its output will be visible on this simulator, right? And here you have got this is the joystick, okay, moving up and down using your arrow keys or maybe the mouse pointers. Then these are the left and the right ones, and this is also there, okay, this is for jumping towards the right and left and bottom, right? Then we have the menu option. It gives you the menu options like for volume, timer, etc. Okay. Then this is for restarting. This is for these are the buttons for player A and B. This is for stopping the simulator. This is again for restarting the simulator, and toggle to the debug mode. Debug mode is, suppose you have written a code and there is an error into it. So to find out that error and correct it, you need to go into the debug mode, right? So you have got the debug mode button here. Then you have the sound audio. I mean, this is for muting the audio. Right now it is unmute. You can mute it whenever you feel like. Then here are the keyboard shortcuts for you. For player 1 you have these shortcuts, and for player 2 you have these shortcuts, right? So they are very useful while you are playing the two-player games here. Then this is for taking the screenshot, and the shortcut key is P, and this is to enter into the full screen mode. So the moment you press it, your game will be launched in the full screen mode like this. Alright, and alternatively you can press it again to exit the full screen mode, right? So I hope this simulator is clear to you. And here you have got the these are the tools, okay. I mean, see, Acha, this is hiding the simulator also. You can hide your simulator if you don't want to see it, right? So with this you are getting a lot of space for your blocks and dragging and dropping your blocks here. But I do require my simulator, so I want it here on the left side. Now here these you can see sprites, controller, game, music. Now see, this is basically the block based programming. As we have already discussed, that block based programming uh, is something where you drag and drop the blocks, okay, and it's the best way to learn coding or programming if you are a beginner, right? If you do not have any prior knowledge of programming, so it's always better to start with the block based coding. And here these are the blocks only, right? So sprite, when you click on sprite, you get all the blocks related to sprite, okay, and they are categorically kept under the headings like create blocks may you get these two blocks, under physics you get these blocks, under effects you get these couple of blocks, under projectiles you have two blocks, overlap section has got a few blocks like these. Then we have the life cycle block, okay, then image block, then scale block, and that's it, okay. The same thing goes for all of these options, okay. So now what is going to be our way of working here in arcade.make.com? We are going to drag and drop the blocks as per our requirement. Fine. That means, for example, I want to create a player, so I will go into the sprites. Why sprites? Now, let us first discuss what is the meaning of sprite. Sprite means the player of your game. You can say it is the hero of your arcade game, right? So suppose you want to create a sprite, so you will have to go into the create and then you'll have to drag and drop it here, okay. So on start, set my sprite to sprite of kind player. All right, so this is how the block based coding works. Now suppose you don't want it anymore, you are thinking, okay, this is not required, so you can just drag and drop it back. Okay, so it goes into the trash, and it disappears from your main working area. All right, another thing, this is the cloud based. As you can see, हम website पर हैं, everything gets saved online, right? So you need not be worried about the entire process of saving. Fine. Now you can minimize the area as well as you can maximize the area using these two buttons. This is for undo, like, we had this block, so by doing this undo, the block has come here. For redoing, you have this particular button. Okay, now look here, this is the block. Okay, these are the blocks which are being showed with the help of this block button. Alternatively, it's not mandatory that you use the block based coding here. If you are having the knowledge of, let's say, JavaScript or Python, so you can design your entire game using any of these two languages, right? So this platform does not restrict you to use only the block based coding. Rather, it gives the flexibility to use, or I would say to toggle between the blocks, JavaScript and Python. All right, so it's again, I would say that it's a wonderful platform to start your coding journey with. Since we are making the Corgio platform or game, so the first thing we need is we need to go to the advanced. Okay, under the advanced, click on extensions, and under the extensions click on Corgio. Okay, so it's a dog and it is basically a Corgio platformer. So click on that. When you click, it gets added here on top, right? And your simulator is going to take a little bit of time to accommodate the changes. Now see, the very first thing is, see, I don't like this black background of my simulator or my game. So I want to go to scene and I will change the background color. Let's say I want the background to be this cyan color. I've chosen this. You can see the effect is being, whatever we are writing here or we are, dragging and dropping here, it gets reflected here in the simulator. Fine. Now, since we have chosen our Corgio as the sprite or as the player, so click on that, and from here select this, set my cog to Corgi of kind player. Okay? That means with this particular block, you are telling arcade gaming platform that you have set a variable called mycog. And what is there in this variable? There is Corgi. Okay, Corgi means this dog, and the kind of this dog is, this is your player. Fine. So here you have got a drop down list. You can rename the variable using this particular button, and here you'll be able to write its name, right? I don't want to rename it, so I'm leaving it as it is. Let's check out this player also. So player, when you click on the drop down list of the player, it gives you a list of options wherein you can select that is it a player or a food or an enemy or a projectile, or if not out of these four, then you can choose a new kind also. Okay, so you can explain what is this player all about, what is this variable all about. All right, now before moving ahead, I would like to tell you one more thing. Variable is basically a placeholder. Okay, like in mathematics we have got variables where we keep the values. Okay, like in maths we say let x equals to 10. So what is this x? This is a variable, right? In computers, these variables are nothing but the memory locations. These memory locations have got some address, and we associate a particular value to these memory location. Okay, for our convenience, we write down the names of these variable. Like here, we have written the name called MyCorg. Okay, you can see that there is this tooltip coming here, sets this variable to be equal to the input, right? So ये आपका एक variable है. वेरिएबल क्या होता है कंप्यूटर्स में? वेरिएबल होता है एक मेमोरी लोकेशन, ठीक है, और आप उस मेमोरी लोकेशन के अंदर कोई भी वैल्यू डाल सकते हैं. तो जब इन फ्यूचर आपको कोई भी ऑपरेशन करना होगा उस वेरिएबल पे, कोई भी आपको वर्क करना है उस वेरिएबल पे, तो आप वो वेरिएबल का नाम ले लीजिए. अल्टीमेटली जो है, आप जो कंटेंट उसके अंदर आपने रखा है, यू विल बी वर्किंग ओवर इट, राइट? Okay, so this is a simple definition of a variable in computers. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now let us do a little bit of things. अब कुछ functionality add करते हैं MyCog में, right? See, I have set the player, but even now, nothing is happening with our player even if I move my joystick. Why so? Because we have to assign the movement to our player in the first place. ठीक है. So the very first thing which we will do now is we'll go into Corgio and we are going to say make MyCog jump if arrow key is pressed. ठीक है. And so yeah, when we press the arrow keys, our corgi is going to jump. Let us go again and let us say make MyCog move left and right with the arrow keys. Okay, so if the left and right arrow keys are pressed, then MyCog is going to move along with the key, okay, with the key direction, right? Now see, there the image of the dog is still the same, even in motion it is not changing its image. So let us go into Corgio once again and let's get into this and change the image when MyCog is moving. Right, now look here, let me again tell you, हम उसी सेम वेरिएबल पे काम कर रहे हैं. लुक केयरफुली, हमने MyCog नाम से वेरिएबल जो है क्रिएट किया था, उसके अंदर हमने कॉर्गी नाम का प्लेयर रखा था, और अब हम आगे उसी MyCog वेरिएबल पर ही काम कर रहे हैं. हम कह रहे हैं जब हमारी एरो कीज प्रेस हो तो वो जंप करे. ठीक है, इस लाइन में, इस ब्लॉक में हम कह रहे हैं कि जब लेफ्ट एंड राइट कीज प्रेस हो तब वो मूव करे. क्या मूव करे? MyCog वेरिएबल. और MyCog वेरिएबल में क्या है? कॉर्गी प्लेयर, right? So ultimately what are we moving? We are moving our corgi player with the help of this variable called MyCog. And lastly, with this code we are changing the image. Now look here, when I move, the dog changes the image, okay, like this. So it looks more realistic, and when you bring your joystick here, it jumps, okay, it jumps in the left and the right direction. Okay, so this is how your Corgio makes the movement. Now what next we are going to do? We are going to make the platform, because this is the platformer game. तो अब हम platform बनाएंगे, और प्लेटफॉर्मर के लिए we have to get into the scene. Into the scene we set tile map to tile map. Okay, now with this we will be able to create a platform, ठीक है, using this tile map. Now we have taken this block, so we will click into this particular square. ये एक tile map है. जब आप इसे क्लिक करेंगे you will be transferred to the editor mode, and here the very first thing which we will do is हम अपने platform का dimension set करेंगे. Okay, you can see this is level 1 and dimension, क्योंकि अभी स्क्वायर ब्लॉक है और प्लेटफॉर्म जो है वो लॉन्ग होता है, तो हम इसको लेट्स से हम डायमेंशन दे देते हैं 20 बाय लेट्स से 8 and press enter. See, this is how your platform is going to change. Now look into some of the tools given here. ठीक है, ये है आपका पेंट टूल, दिस इज योर इरेज टूल, देन रेक्टेंगल टूल, paint bucket or fill tool, then this is your circle tool, line tool, marquee selection marquee tool, hand tool, okay, that means canvas pan tool, and these are the my tiles. Okay, whichever tile you will select, it will be reflected here, right? And this is the draw walls. This is a very useful tool because we are going to you create the walls over our tiles with the help of this. Okay, now the first thing I want to show you here is this drop down. We have four options here. Okay, forest, I mean whatever option you will select, it is going to show you the related tiles here. Okay, like these are the tiles present in the forest. Okay, forest option. Then you can get into aquatic, and these are the aquatic tiles, okay, or the aquatic platforms. This is dungeon. Okay, so you can choose any of these. Then the last is miscellaneous, right? So you can choose miscellaneous also. So whichever tile map appeals to you, you can select that particular tile map. Okay, let's say I want this one. So once you select this, you got to just drag it like this, okay, so that you can you see, you can create these tile maps for your player. After that, let's say, okay, and let's say this is the final track. Okay, now after doing this, let us click on done, and our simulator is going to show the, okay, this thing. Now see, we have created the platform, but my, my player is not able to walk over it. The reason being, the walls are not being made on this platform. So we will have to go back into this, and this time we are going to select this draw walls, and we are going to draw the walls over this platform so that our player is able to move over this. Once you have completed this, click on done, and let your your this thing get, simulator get refreshed. Now you can see that your player is very much over the platform, and now you can move it. Now we have added the wall, and we let us see हमारा corgi जो है कैसे इस पे move कर रहा है. And see, now अभी एक जो limitation हमारे पास है, the limitation is our camera is not moving in accordance with our player. Okay, so उसको overcome करने के लिए we have to go into corgi and just drag this, make camera follow my corgi left and right. Let us keep it here before this tile now. ठीक है, and now let us try doing it again, and let us see whether our corgi is able to move ahead and whether our camera is actually following it or not. Yeah, let us go and do some more modifications into it. Okay, what modification are we trying to do now? हम एक end gate बनाएंगे, and we are going to put the win and lose condition into this game. Okay, so for that let us go into the tile map once again. Okay, yeah, one more thing I would like to tell you here is, suppose you think that there is a platform which you want to change, so you can do that with the help of marquee tool. Select the marquee tool. For instance, you want to delete this, make the selection and delete. Okay, for undo, you have these undo and redo buttons, so press undo and it will come. If you want to take it higher, you can do that by just dragging it and dropping it wherever you want to. Okay, like this. Okay, suppose I want to bring them a little down. So let's say I have brought this here. Suppose I want to delete this portion of the tile, okay, of the platform. Select the portion which you want to delete and press the delete button. Okay, now if you want to bring it here, you can do that, or maybe you know, let's just make it a little smaller. Okay, so we can do it this way, right? So we can modify the platform up to the extent we want. ठीक. Now what I was willing to do is I'll go to my tiles and I'll click this create new tile button. Okay, it will bring me into the editor. Now suppose I want a gate kind of a structure. Let's say I want it like this. Okay, let it be a door, something like the Doraemon anyway door. Okay, let's have a couple of colors into it. Let me make a door kind of a stuff here, and then you can just click on done after you are done with it. Now you can just bring it here, okay, by dragging and dropping and place it here. Okay, after placing your, your tile will come at this location. Click done and let your simulator be refreshed. And now let us move our player and see whether the door has come or not. Okay. Okay, so the door has come, but you see nothing is happening over the door, right? So what exactly we need to do? We need to bring a block called overlap, which is there in the scene. Okay, so under the scenes we are going to go into this particular block which says on sprite of kind player overlaps this particular thing. ठीक है, this is the tile map at location. फाइन, सो यहाँ पे ड्रॉप डाउन से सेलेक्ट द डोर, बिकॉज हम लोग क्या डिसाइड कर रहे हैं कि जब हमारा स्प्राइट, एज आई टोल्ड यू इन द बिगनिंग, स्प्राइट कौन है हमारे गेम में? प्लेयर, राइट? तो हमारा स्प्राइट जो है, जो कॉर्गियो है, जब वो लोकेशन पे, ठीक है, मतलब इस पूरे एरिया में जहाँ पे भी उसको ये डोर मिले और वो डोर से ओवरलैप कर जाए, तो हमें क्या करना है? तो हमें गेम में जाके ये बताना है कि गेम ओवर हो गई है, बट हम इसे लूज नहीं, हम इसको विन डिसाइड कर रहे हैं. Okay, so with this we are deciding the winning the strategy for our game. So ये आपकी winning जो है condition decide हो गई. इसको ज़रा play करने की कोशिश करते हैं and let us see whether it is working or not working. So yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm not pretty good in gaming, so kindly excuse me for this. Yeah, here we go. The door and the sprite has collided, or maybe we can say overlap, and which has brought us to the winning condition. ओके, अब हम क्या करेंगे? अब हम एक लूजिंग कंडीशन डिसाइड करेंगे, और लूजिंग कंडीशन के लिए मैं नीचे एक फायर काइंड ऑफ टाइल मैप बना रही हूँ, जो कि जब हमारा प्लेयर नीचे गिरेगा और स्ट्राइक करेगा उस फायर वाले टाइल मैप पे, तो हमारी गेम लूज हो जाएगी. Alright, so for that let's click on the tile map and select this plus button. Okay, and this time I'm making something called fire kind of a stuff. Once you are done with the drawing the fire, click on done, and now just put it here at the bottom. ठीक है, you can drag it like this. All right, so with this we are done with it, and we are going to come back here. ओके, ठीक है। अच्छा, अभी मेरे को क्या लग रहा है, हमारी टाइल जो है, जो हमारा प्लेटफॉर्म है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा नीचे इसके साथ मैच कर रहा है। तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, वी कैन गेट इन टू द मार्की एंड इसको थोड़ा सा ऊपर ले जाते हैं, इसको भी थोड़ा सा ऊपर ले जाते हैं। नाउ इट्स लुक मच बेटर। लेट्स रिफ्रेश आवर दिस थिंग, या okay. Okay, so we are again going to scene, and here we are again selecting this particular block, ठीक है, and यहाँ से we have to choose this flames, and now we are going to the game and we are going to pick it again, and this time we are going to leave it on loose, right? So what does this block says, ये block बोल रहा है कि जब आपका sprite जो कि player है, और प्लेयर कौन है, हमारा कॉर्गियो, ओके, तो जब आपका प्लेयर ओवरलैप करे फ्लेम के साथ गेम में, लोकेशन में, ठीक है, तो गेम ओवर हो जाए, और आपके पास एक साउंड के साथ मैसेज आएगा गेम ओवर या यू लूज, राइट? So now let us see practically whether it's happening or not. We have already checked the winning condition, and now we are going to check the losing condition. Suppose it goes down, game over. Alright, so this is how we have made the basic structure of the Corgio platformer game. In the next part, I am going to show you how you can add the coins to this particular game. Okay, so till then, keep practicing this game, and thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Bye and take care.